Bruce Hooley. He morning host on 105.7 The Zone, Fox affiliate in Columbus, Ohio. The show that precedes this show, and kind enough to join us. Bruce, good morning. How are you?
I'm good, Dan. I'm going to need a shower of shame if we get any more in the muck here on the Ohio State Urban Meyer story.
Wait, but it's quiet. All quiet. Or is it quiet?
Oh, Dan, you've not been on Facebook over the weekend. There are all kinds of allegations flying.
Yeah, I saw some of that. All right. Can we separate fact from fiction here on some of these Facebook reports?
We can separate that Tom Herman, the Texas coach, has admitted that he and his wife, Michelle, loaned some money or gave money to Courtney Smith, the ex-wife of the fired Ohio State wide receivers coach, for her legal bills. Where that sits on the continuum, Dan, of being a compassionate gesture for a woman in trouble, or at the other end being a duplicitous act of a coach engaged in nefarious negative recruiting, is up to whether you decide that, Tom Herman is a saint or the ultimate sinner betraying his former boss, Urban Meyer.
When is Zach Smith going to be, the former coach, be interviewed by this committee deciding on Urban Meyer's fate?
I am told that will happen today or tomorrow. They were interviewing administrative and former administrative people on Thursday and Friday of last week, and the characterization I got of the committee's questions is that it's not a whitewash, that it is a legitimate fact-finding effort, and I think a lot of people wondered about that when Ohio State said that the investigation would take 14 days before it ever really got started, but those who have been in the room say that it's no joke, which you'd expect, with Mary Jo White being the hired investigator of this, and she's been in on the Jerry Richardson thing, the Ezekiel Elliott thing with the NFL. So she's got investigative chops, and that's the person in charge of all this.
This might surprise you with the question. I don't know, but it feels like that Gene Smith, that there might be more pressure on the athletic director than the head coach. Do you believe that?
Well, I do believe there's pressure on him. He's on vacation this week. You can make of that whatever you want. A lot of people here make a lot of jokes about it because Gene is never on the record on anything. So, Gene Smith's on vacation. How do you know? Those jokes are in vogue in Columbus this week. I think, Dan, I've covered Ohio State for 30 years, and I'm guessing here. So it's an educated guess, but it's a guess. I think they're trying to figure out how they can position this at the end so they minimize or eliminate their legal culpability and still try to look good. And the way that I keep landing on is that they will position it at the end that they did everything right from an administrative viewpoint and from an Urban Meyer viewpoint, but that Ohio State aspires to do more than the minimums. And so there will be some sanctions on both sides, on the administrative side and on the coaching side. I can't imagine they'll keep Urban Meyer off the field and away from his team and then come out with no suspension at all. And I'm not saying that's justified. I'm not saying I advocate for that. I'm saying this is my guess based upon assorted scandals at Ohio State through the years and this kind of push-pull between the administrative academic side and the athletic side.
Are there any local leaks? Feels like this is more national that it gets out than local.
Well, there's an interesting dynamic in Columbus that has changed in the last couple of years, Dan, and that is the sale of the newspaper in town, which used to be owned by a very powerful individual who also owned the radio station that has Ohio State's rights and the dominant television station in the market. And everything always used to be filtered through those three entities first. Now that that individual has passed away, I'm not sure that same sort of homage is paid by the powers that be at Ohio State. So perhaps we're seeing a new era where everybody is on a level playing field in terms of breaking news, or perhaps not. Perhaps one of those two entities now, the radio station or the television station, will get this first. And maybe if they get it first, they've worked hard and deserved it. I don't want to say that they didn't, but that's typically how things have worked in the past.
And the time frame for a decision is at this point next week?
I think if you count the days forward from when they announced the committee a week ago Sunday, we are on day 8, and they said day, 14 days or less. So it could be Friday, as this thing is made for a Friday afternoon news dump,
yes,
isn't
it
it?
is.
Or
yes,
maybe
it
it'll
is.
be next Monday of next week.
Bruce, we'll be talking to you soon. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, Dan. Thank you.
That's Bruce Hooley. Does a great job. Morning host 105.7, The Zone, Fox affiliate in Columbus.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.